Good evening, and thank you for joining tonight. Tonight, we're going to finish off Exodus 20 as we are continually in our preparation for Easter. I'll confess to you, if I haven't before, that's what we're doing in these weeks leading up. This past week, we finished the Ten Commandments. So in Exodus 20, verse 18, all the people perceived the thunder and lightning flashes and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood at a distance. Then they said to Moses, "Speak to us and we will listen, but do not let God speak to us or we will die." Moses said to the people, "Do not be afraid, for God has come in order to test you and in order that the fear of him may remain with you so that you will not sin." So the people stood at a distance while Moses approached the thick cloud where God was. Now I want to stop there. The people realized that, and they perceived the thunder and lightning flashes, sound of the trumpet, the smoke rising, and it scared them. They trembled and they stood at a distance. And they said to Moses, "You speak to us and we will listen, but if the voice of God speaks, we will die." Have you ever stopped to think about why would they say that? And I believe it's because they realized, even in their state of being who they were, and these guys were pretty rough, and they were rough on God, they were rough on Moses, but they realized that they could not be in the presence of a perfect God. And God said, and Moses said, "Don't be afraid, for God has come in order to test you, in order that the fear of him may remain with you so that you may not sin." So God is here to remind you of who he is. So the people stood at a distance. Moses approached, and then in verse 22, God said to Moses, "Thus you shall say to the sons of Israel, you yourselves have seen that I have spoken to you from heaven. You shall not make other gods besides me, gods of silver, gods of gold. You shall not make for yourselves. You shall not make an altar of earth for me." You shall make an altar of earth for me. You shall sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen, in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. I will come to you and bless you. So again, God said, okay, I'm God. Don't have any other gods before me, which was the first commandment. And now he's reiterated it, if you will. And God said, "You'll make an altar, you'll sacrifice on it in every place where I cause my name to be remembered." And God would tell them on their journey to build an altar and sacrifice. He even said, "If you make an altar of stone for me, you shall not build it of cut stones, for if you weld your tool on it, you will profane it." Now, why did God say that? Should we have not used fine edges and fine workmanship when we built our new worship center, or even when this chapel was built back in the 1880s? Should we have not done that? Well, no. What God was telling them is that if you build it of cut stones, then you are building your pride into it. I mean, that's what he's saying. And you shall not go up the steps to my altar so that your nakedness will not be exposed on it. God said, you don't need pride, and your presence is not to be there. Because again, at this point, there was a definite separation. We will see when the tabernacle is specified and when the temple is built that there's a great veil that is to be between man and God, and only the high priest can even intercede into that veil once a year to make sacrifices on behalf of the entire nation. Now, Jesus tore the veil in two. But in this time, God has said, your nakedness shall not be exposed. I mean, literally, I don't want to see up your robe. I mean, I know that's even a little profane in how that's said, but that is literally what God is saying, is that I don't want to see your leg hairs. Okay. If you want to go that route. So there's a definite call at the end for us to remember that God is God and we are us. And that is really a great place to end this. I know this was a shorter video, but that's a great place to end, and just continue to think about what God is doing as we drive towards the Easter season. Hope you have a great night. Would love to see you on Sunday morning. Have a great one.